We are recording, David.
Come on. Exactly fine.
Great. Oh, the door's still
Hello. I've been a little busy forgetting about that. Sorry, we had a little different.
Let's do right here.
Yeah, you're me, you sit there. There's a camera right there. And if I sat there, I'll never know if you're there. Oh well. Let's keep away.
All right, I'll get started. I'm waiting on my case manager, my case manager to come in here. Is that everybody? Okay. I'm David. I'm the founder of Stillwater Paranormal. I've been part of it for going on 7 years now. I was with the team previous before I started mine. We've had this thing for 4 years. We started off small. We started off doing graveyards. Just, we just thought we'd think nothing of it. We just figured we'd go to the graveyard and have fun. We got our first case in Madisonville. A woman called us and wanted us to come in. She was having some activity in her home. The house was built in 1912. We went out, we investigated the home. We didn't have no activity at all. So we thought we hit big time when we done our first case, and we started researching a little bit more into it and started investing some money into it. As you can see, try not to get her laying on the table. This is all our equipment. We're still adding on. We've got the hauler, if you've seen it sitting down there. It's basically a mobile command post that we set the TVs up in, and all we do is just pull into the client's home and business and just hook up and go, and we're ready. This is my case manager, Rachel. The case manager, John. Mallory, she's new to the team. And Jay, he's our electrician. Anything he's got electrical, he does. We'll start Rachel with a PowerPoint.
But I'll use this to tell you guys a little bit what we do.
Sorry, guys.
I left my mouth.
Should have a mouse.
There it is. Okay, who we are. We are a paranormal team. And we're a paranormal research team. A lot of people say, okay, so what does that mean? Basically, we're ghost hunters. Everybody calls us, oh, Ghostbusters. Yeah, that's what we do. As he said, David founded this team in 2009, so we've been doing this for a long time. And we're located out of Sweetwater. This is our team. This was at Etowah Training Depot where we took this picture of. And yes, that place is haunted. There's David. He's the founder of the team. He's our service leader. I'm the case manager. John is the tech manager. He's the one that sets up the cameras, gets everything going, and Jay helps him out. And we have Lauren, who's Jay's wife, and she's not here. She's up in Wisconsin. And Connie she takes the pictures for us. And she does a lot, she helps me out setting up cases. She calls places. And Michael, he's another tech assistant. He helps John and Jay get all the cameras going. And we have Mallory, she's new to the team. And we have another lady that's not here right now. Her name's Tamara. And we have Ben. He's not with us either. Ben is he does everything. we got questions about, anything demonic or something like that, he's the one that usually looks everything up for us. Our investigation process, when we do an investigation, we're contacted by the client, they call us. Sometimes if we go to like commercial, like businesses, I usually contact them and say, hey, do you mind if we come in and do a ghost hunt? I heard you had activity. Sometimes they let us in and sometimes they don't. It starts out by an interview. We always go to the client and there's like 7 little sheets that we fill out. And we ask them what kind of activity they have. Is it, can you smell? Do you have smells? What do you see? What do you hear? Have you had any apparitions? And stuff like that. We write all that down. Then I set up a date for the investigation. Then we actually go to the client's house and conduct the ghost hunt. Now when we get there, it takes us about an hour and a half to set up our equipment, sometimes less. And we go lights out and we do our investigation. And then we review the evidence to see, like after all the ghost hunt's over with, we tell the client we'll get back with you. It takes us usually about 2 weeks to go through the DVR system, which is going here, and there are voice recorders. Usually we have, our last case we did, we had over 17 hours on our recorders that they have to go through, and it takes a lot of time to do that. And then if we, after we review the evidence, we actually go to the client's house and present them with what we found. Most of the time we find nothing. A lot of people think, oh, ghost hunting, every place is haunted. No, it's not. We can go there and there will be absolutely nothing going on. Doesn't mean the place isn't haunted, it's just whatever was there didn't want to interact with us.
Most of our interviews, the client lasts over an hour and a half. We go through extent details. We ask them personal questions, down to mental illness, anything that could be related to paranormal, what they're witnessing, what they're seeing, what they're hearing, description.
Yeah, a lot of times, like I'll say, are you on any types of medication? The interview actually gets really personal. I ask them about their religion, I ask them, mental illness, I said, are you on any medications? This all helps us rule out, like, is there something else that could cause them to have this thinking that their place is haunted? And then once we go over the findings and show the client what they have, we offer them options. With our ghost hunt team, we cannot get rid of a ghost. If you have a ghost in your house, all what we can do is say, this is what you have. We can't get rid of it for you. Now, we do have contacts of people that can come in. There's Tamara. And we do have contacts where we can bring in a Catholic priest and he can do a blessing on the home and hopefully help get rid of whatever's there.
We're part of Paranormal Clergy out of Kentucky. What they do, something that they do, they've got a Facebook page. We're a part of it. It's a secret page. And they post cases that could be demonic. And we take them cases on and we'll go, we'll investigate, collect all the evidence, and then we'll review it. We'll get back to Paranormal Clergy. You might know the guy that runs it, his name's Bishop Long. He's been on Ghost Adventures, all these TV shows.
He also does a lot of radio talk shows.
Radio talk shows. He's a Catholic priest out of Louisville, Kentucky.
And usually, like, if we have any questions about, like, somebody will say, oh, I have a demonic activity, and if we think that it could be demonic, then we'll call him up and get his advice and find out, what do you think we're doing? We had a case not too long ago. We had a case in Lenore City, and apparently they were dealing with like black magic, and basically he told us, you guys don't need to go to that house, just stay away from it. So.
It was pretty intense.
Yeah. Okay, there's 2 different types of hauntings. There's a residual haunting where you'll see like a shadow figure, and it'll just like go the same every day, same time, same place, and you'll just see it every day. Or you'll see a shadow, or it could be a sound. Basically what a residual haunt is you can't interact with it, and it's just there every day. And then basically it's just trapped energy. And intelligent haunting, those are the ones that, you know, we deal with most.
Yeah.
And these are where they want to make contact and they actually interact with the occupants. Like, we can ask questions, they can answer us back, and it tries to communicate with the owners. And a lot of times, basically, they're just making noise, trying to, for acknowledgement. They want you to know that, hey, I'm here. And a lot of times we tell people, if you have anything happen in your house and you don't want it to continue, this doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes if you ignore it, it'll go away. But once you make that contact and interaction with whatever it is, it'll keep coming back. It'll keep doing things that, hey, I'm here. Earlier I was telling you about the hunt. When we get to a location, we set up the equipment, which I said before, it takes about an hour, hour and a half, depending on how many cords we gotta run. We have the camera over here sitting in the corner by the flag. We have 12 of those that we can set in different areas of the house or business. And then we run cords all the way back to the system. This is our DVR. And once we get all that going, there will be a couple team members who will actually do what we call an investigation log. This is where we'll go and get EMF readings, electromagnetic fields. We'll go and check all the light sockets. We'll go just check all the appliances and see if they're throwing off any kind of reading. So while we're doing our investigation, we know, like, that's the lights, that's the fan, that's the microwave. So we know that that's not paranormal. We try to rule everything out before, we say, oh, this place is haunted. And also on the investigation log, we'll do a temperature reading in all the rooms and just see, like, does the temperature change while we're doing the investigation. After all that's done, we split into teams. There's 10 of us, and usually we do either teams of 3, we might do teams of 5. It just depends how big the location is. And sometimes we don't even split up at all, depending who's with us.
Somebody said the monitors watching them at all times.
Yeah. We have a command center. We'll set up this table right here. We'll have a screen. We'll have the DVR. And somebody will sit and actually watch the screens while we're doing the investigation and see if they catch anything. And then they can be like, hey, you need to go to, the second bedroom. We saw something in there. And then once we split into teams, we choose equipment. On this table over here, this is pretty much most of our equipment. It's not all of it. These are different devices and stuff that we use during our investigation. We'll split that up with whoever's on what team. Then we go lights out. People say, why do you go lights out? Yes, if there's a ghost, it's going to be there in the daylight, whether you turn the lights out or leave them on. Most of the times, whatever we deal with, they tend to interact more if the lights are out. I guess they don't get scared of us, which is kind of funny, they're scared of us. And then once we go lights out, we sit there and we ask questions and try to make contact. We're constantly like, what's your name? Why are you here? Do you know you've passed on? We ask those types of questions. And once the investigation's done, we break it down. Breakdown takes about a half an hour and then we're out. And usually it's about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and we're ready to go. And I'm going to turn it over to Mother David to go over the equipment because they know more about the equipment than I do.
Like I said before, we have a enclosed hall that we're right now working on getting it installed. Everything is installed on it. We have 2 screens on each side. These guys are screens, so we just roll to the location if they allow the hall. That's one of the interview questions we ask. And we pull up, we just unload it. Because an hour and a half setup is about 30 minutes. It's pretty neat how we do it. If you go on out with us, we set up, you can see we like that, we know what we're doing. It's really fast.
Yeah, I consider the truck and the haulers like one of our most important pieces.
We call it Beauty and the Beast. This is like semi,
Yeah, it's huge. And it's a 16-foot trailer, so a lot of times I'll have to say, can we fit our trailer in there? And they'll say, sure. And when we get there, it's a dead-end road. I was like, okay, we're here, now how do we get it out? So, and DVR system.
So this is our DVR system we got running right here. Basically, we set cameras up in the hot spots of the house so we can videotape. Hopefully, we get a shadow figure, something move or something. Very rarely do we catch something on camera, to tell you honest truth. I mean, 1 out of 1,000 times we might actually catch something on camera, but we like to have them running just in case. You never know. It might be $1 million video. You never know. All right. Like I said, we got a tripod camera and our DVR system. We have the capability to run probably 20 cameras with both DVR systems. So 12, 4, 6, yeah, 12 cameras and our screen. We have K2, which is right here. Basically, this detects energy. Okay, and the walls, light switches. If your light switches are not grounded properly, then this will pick it up. Now, if your light switches and any outlets, or if you have wiring that's ancient, that's not insulated, it throws off electricity, which could cause you to have paranoia.
If you have a high electromagnetic field in any type of room, it can cause you to have paranoia and hallucinations.
Yeah.
So sometimes you might not even have a ghost, but you think you do, and it's because you have a high electromagnetic field.
She mentioned a case in Wilmore City. We went to the little kid's room, and it just blew everything out of our room because of the bad wiring.
All of our devices
This is-
registered
yeah.
extremely high, and we're like, okay, this could be causing a lot of their problems.
These three basically do the same thing. They detect energy. These are helpful because the energy will change if the spirit comes close to you. These things, we can use these to interact with the spirits also. We can say, all right, can you take it up to the red light? And it'll do it. And it does do it. And then it'll go dead. And then we say, okay, can you do it again? Take it up to the red light, do it again. So we can use any of these. There's multiple ones of these. We got a couple of them. Some of them tell us temperatures and electromagnetic fields and stuff like that. So you buy 10 different versions of these.
Yeah, this is actually the code hotspots.
Yeah.
It's got a little probe on it that kind of get close to it, and all these lights start showing up now. Red for hot, blue for cold. We've actually done an investigation of the location, and we had that just kept reading back and forth.
Ghost Box, we got 2 versions of it, an older version and a newer version. Basically, this searches the radio waves, and between the clicks, you'll hear clicks. Basically, we sit on AM, and it speeds through the channels where you really can't pick up a radio station. And it just, you'll hear clicks, click, 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 and in between clicks, the spirit will talk.
They'll actually say words.
Say words, sentences.
They
So
can give you
it's-
names.
It can drive you crazy just listening to it because you put these earbuds in and
It's like,
it's like that, and so it'll drive you crazy. You gotta have patience with it, but it does work. iOS, this is a neat device. We got 2 versions of it. This is an old version. I think this is the first one they came out with. It's called PX. It's the older version. The iOS is not the newest version. We're working on getting the newest version. This is the one right before the newest version. It kind of sounds freaky. And they actually use this, the spirits use this to talk to us. It's got a built-in dictionary to it, and it uses it. We ask it questions, it'll respond for here. We went to Etowah Depot, and it actually was interacting with us through this. There is no cuss words programmed in this, either one of these. No cuss words whatsoever. And it was
It was not being nice.
Yeah,
at
it
all.
wasn't being, especially to the women, it wasn't being nice to the women. And.
Well, come to find out, it's like later on, we took the evidence back to the lady who's running it, and we asked her, okay, this is what we found. She goes, I find that kind of funny because we had a gentleman who used to work here, and he actually, he passed away. Now, I don't know if he passed away there at the Trade Depot or where he passed away at, but he would actually call women what they were saying over the Ovilus, and she was like, so we actually tied those two together. So, and he was like connected, he used to work on the trains, and then once they shut down the train depot, he started working in there when it was a museum. And he wasn't very nice to women.
No. He causes women certain things that we want to mention. Dowsers, these are really, really neat. I can't work them, not everybody can work them. She's really good. She learned from a,
Never called her,
she's a psychic medium. And basically, you hold these. You hold them. Good, it's fine.
A lot of people use these to find water, and major oil companies actually use these to find oil. BP actually uses them. It's like that. You just hold them. When you pick them up, they spin. You got to make sure your hands are not touching the bottoms. Just hold it and you put your thumbs down. And
We'll have a video up within a week on our YouTube channel of the rods of our last investigation. And you can see the rods just.
they were just spinning completely around like this. And I just did. But it's like, if you was like making them spin as fast as they were on that video, your hands would be moving and they'd be wild and crazy. And everybody's like, oh, you're doing that. It's like, no, you can't do that. These will actually, and I'll let actually people hold these and they can see that, no, we're not controlling. But what I do is I ask yes or no questions. I'll say cross for yes, open for no. You can't ask them, anything but yes and no. And sometimes we can get some really good information about who's there, why they're there, and stuff like that. But you just hold them and they'll start moving. And once, see, they're moving on there right now. And then you'll ask like, just different questions. And once they answer the question and they'll cross, I'll ask them to straighten the rods back up. I always make them go back straight before I ask another question where we're,
Sorry about that. I'm setting something up for you.
okay. So let me see if I can get something on here. I'm not seeing the library's haunted. Like, I'm never going back there again.
And when, there's our bench are very big to be long.
Yeah, I could be doing that too, so I'll just, there, Ben, I didn't think about it. I'll just let that go.
That brings us, this, since they said blown vents, this is not on the presentation, but I'll just tell you real quick. This is a wind meter, okay? This will detect vents blowing, like it will say, oh, my currents are blowing all the time, I can't figure it out. You take this in, hold it up, and usually it's a vent that's making the curtains blow or something like that. A lot of things are, we debunk it, we don't call it, just because a shade moves, that don't mean it's on it. It means, okay, let's figure out why it's moving, and then we check out why it's moving. And usually a lot of times it's a vent, or the window ain't sealed properly, there's explanations for it. We don't go in and automatically assume everything's on it. Actually, we go in and say, okay, this place is not on it. And then it has to prove to us that it is on it.
We do a lot of debunking.
Recorders, these are digital voice recorders. Basically, we leave them running the whole investigation. As you said, we had 17 hours on our last investigation. We usually run between 4 and 5 recorders. We usually have stationary recorders, and then we have recorders that stay on us, okay? And basically, we might have some audio later on in the presentation that we could actually show you what we picked up at houses off these recorders. This is the same thing. It's called an RT. It's on like a 5-second delay. And basically, they're asking questions, and we're listening to it, and 5 seconds from now, I'll actually hear everything, and I can actually review the evidence as they talk. Like if something says something, I can actually hear it on here before we even review that. But the weird thing is, I might hear it on here, and I'm sitting next to her, and she has this. Both of them's not gonna pick up. It picks and chooses what recorder it wants to use. Believe it or not.
It's like we'll be talking, and then as he's reviewing it and going over it, you'll hear another voice, and you know, like, we always tag the recorders, like when we go into a place, and tagging is, it's like, who's in this room? I'll be like, Rachel, John, David, Jay, that's who's in this room. And David and John know how to listen for they know our voices. So if they hear a strange voice, usually like a whisper or something come in, that's what they're looking for when they review the evidence. So, that was the RT.
That's our key. Video cameras, we got a full spectrum, which this is a full spectrum. It works really good at night, and it takes pictures in ultraviolet light. Okay,
It's kind of like night vision.
yeah, it's like night vision, but it actually takes in more reds and blues. And you usually pick up a shadow figure that way, and any other phenomenon. So it's a pretty cool device. We've had it for a couple years now, and we love it. We use camcorders, and the one in back there, we use these to basically somebody carries it around and basically documents everything that we're doing. And usually we go pick up anything moving,
Like,
lights, anything. Yeah.
or
Yeah, there's a lot of,
so-called orbs.
yeah, orbs. Not, everybody's like, oh, there's an orb there. Well, not everything's an orb, a lot of it's dust. Okay, orb is very hard to tell. It has to almost look like a comet. Okay?
Leaves in the tray.
Bugs will leave, bugs that look like an orb, dust.
It has to move in
Yeah,
different
it has
directions.
to move and it's got to switch directions on 45 degrees. So we usually don't really put much belief on orbs because they're so hard to detect. I mean, yeah, you watch these paranormal shows. Oh, look at the orb. Okay, no, that's dust. You know.
Well,
So,
we set up at Deadman's Farm, and we have a monitor going all the time. People will walk up to our, display and stuff, they'll be like, oh, look at all those orbs. Well, you're walking on dust and straw and dirt, that's what you're picking up. It's not orbs, it's just dust.
We've been doing investigations and clients have been sitting there watching the video, and they'll see something go across and we tell them it's just a dust bunny. Like, oh, we clean before we can stop here. It's funny because they think they got all the dust, but these cameras pick up everything.
yeah, a lot of people, rods, I don't know if anybody heard of rods. Okay, this could be a paranormal thing too, but a lot of it's bugs flying across. So it's pretty easily detected. Bugs make it look like a rod. Okay, so this is the phantom light. This works close with full spectrum. It kind of enhances vision. That's what it does.
And there's plenty of versions of these.
Yeah, there's umpteen versions. You go to Ghost Story, you can see anything and everything. Flashlights, we all carry a flashlight. Try not to keep them on too often. I mean, it impairs your night vision. Yeah, it's just pretty much for walking.
When we're switching
Yeah,
rooms, going
switching
different
rooms,
rooms.
downstairs.
Sometimes what I'll do is they call like the flashlight trick, if you guys have watched it, Ghost Hunter, and they'll actually unscrew the back of the flashlight, and it should not come on unless someone touches it, messes with it or something, and we've done that several times.
We get good evidence that way.
Yeah, Donna's Cafe, Donna's Old Town Cafe in Madisonville, we've actually investigated upstairs there, and the flashlight didn't work upstairs.
We also use basic stuff. We got motion lights, basically. You set them up in the middle of the room, and if they go off in front of the camera, something's around there. So that's another thing. We use basic tap lights. We set these up down at OSPH. It's a hospital down in South Pittsburgh. We investigate there a lot. We set 3 of these up down the hallway, and we actually had a video camera recording everything, and one light would come on, then it'll go off, next light will come on, go off, next light, all the way down the hallway. Nobody around it, we had a video camera running. I mean, we couldn't take that evidence without somebody walking up this. So it's a pretty cool little tool we use. I mean, there's a lot of regular things that we use. Laser grid, this is a laser grid. You can see it in daylight, it's more for, yeah, there you go. Little dots. This basically, you detect shadow things. Basically, you have it shining, and if it's dark, you can see a lot better. It's like thousands of little dots. And if they walk through it, it breaks the laser grid.
You can actually see the shadow figure.
We use
This,
this,
it has,
yeah.
we have had that happen.
Yeah, this they drain the batteries a lot. For some reason, they love it. Kind of crazy. The ES, that's why I was setting up over here before my phone went haywire and started going on. But this will play music. Like if we go to a Civil War battlefield and we'll play sort of Civil War music. So I'm going to demonstrate it for you.
We investigated places to do like Parish Apartment in downtown Cleveland. I don't know if you know where it ain't there anymore. It's in the old lodge downtown. We actually viewed this. It kept turning Frank Sinatra music off. So we downloaded some Frank Sinatra and put it on here and started playing it and let it play.
We got activity after we turn on
activity
Facebook.
on that.
Yeah, you put anything else in but Frankie, they don't.
Yeah, they had a CD player, and every time you put Frank Sinatra in there, it would take out that CD. You put something else in there, it'd play all day long. You put Frank Sinatra back in there, it'd kick it out. Did not like it.
That's, and she actually went as far as get rid of her old DVD player and bought a brand new one. And it still did. And it was probably top of the line. Everybody heard of Bose. You have it, it's top of the line. So she bought a brand new Bose DVD player just because the other one just kept kicking out CDs. But actually, we got music playing right now, and you ain't gonna be able to hear it, but this plays on the other side, I guess you might say, and it kind of helps entice the spirits to relax. Now I kicked my phone off because once you do it, you gotta hit play.
It's more works with an iPad.
Yeah, it's not made for phones, but last case I used it.
Huh?
So, yeah, it kicked it off. What? Anyway, it kicks it off. It kicks it out. But yeah, if I had an iPod, you could just unplug it, hear the music, plug it back in. It's not made for phones, but I actually got it to work with my phone on the last case. I forgot what it was playing.
Who's playing Taliban music?
Yeah. Yeah, we played Taliban music because,
Arabic.
yeah, the place we went, they had a lot of collectibles. They had Afghan guns, German authentic helmets. I mean, actual helmets they got from World War II and stuff, and guns they actually got from Afghanistan from fighters because they knew people in the military. So,
They had a lot of collectibles. He had gone over there during the war, and he had brought some stuff back with him, and we think we had terrorists.
yeah.
We don't know. We got to review
We
it.
thought it was German at first, and then it started talking, I think, Arabic or something. I guess we pegged that wrong. So you never know what you're gonna do. I mean, spirits attached to certain items, and like if he's wearing his helmet and gets shot, then he might attach to it. Not saying he will, not saying he won't, but it's a possibility they could attach to the item. I think there's a TV show on a collector where they go in and basically find the item that the spirit's attached to. I don't know. I don't take much stock into that, but I think it's just crazy stuff.
But, and also, we was using the Oculus X, and when the women would try to communicate, it really didn't
This is the white noise detector. Turn it on. No, it's not a detector, it just plays white noise. It helps the spirits communicate with us. But they don't actually talk through here, but it pumps out energy. There's different kinds of noise actually. This is a white noise. There's pink noise that's more calming. If you got a very aggressive spirit, you'll play pink noise. You wouldn't think there'd be a difference because it almost sounds like that, but you put them side by side, you can hear the difference. And they got like
You got a brown
5
noise.
other different.
There's a brown noise.
Yeah, there's a brown noise, pink, purple, green. SIM, it detects vibration, basically, and energy, and so basically, that's what that does.
We turn it on, we set it in the middle of the room somewhere, and if there's an energy or a spirit or, you know, something, footsteps, that thing will start going off. And we're like, hey, you know, that's where we need to go.
Dazzler,
Basically, this is what we're referring to. It ain't called Dazzle, we switched companies. Roxio, what we do is, this is how we get our stuff on our YouTube channel, just all that. It basically takes it off the DVR and turns it onto the disc first time. That's all the Dazzle is.
yeah, that's all it does. We take video and put it on YouTube. Walkie-talkies, we use these to communicate with each other, mainly during setup. And if we're running 2 teams, they're on the top floor, we're on the bottom floor, we call them and say, okay, let's switch.
Or sometimes when we have on, there'll be a noise somewhere, and we're
Yeah.
like, did you do that? Because we always like, if we hear something, we try to debunk.
Yeah.
Like, did you make this noise, or did, you know, where'd this come from? Did you hear that?
This is the EM pump, it pumps energy in the air. So the spirit can actually use that energy to manifest. So we can actually see it. So